Everyone thinks Champy is folklore. The sonar data suggests they're wrong. Lake Champlain sits between Vermont and New York, a 107-mile freshwater body that's been inhabited for centuries. For the past 400 years, people living along its shores have reported the same thing, a large, unidentified creature moving through its depths. Most scientists dismiss these accounts as misidentification, folklore, or outright fabrication. The lake's murky water, they argue, plays tricks on the eye. A log looks like a hump. A wave becomes a neck, case closed, but here's where the story gets interesting. The eyewitness accounts don't start in the 1980s or 1970s. They start in 1609. Samuel de Champlain himself, the explorer the lake is named after, documented a creature he called a Goliath. He described something massive, dark, with a head like a horse and a body the size of a canoe. Now, Champlain was a trained observer. He kept meticulous records of the land, the people, the wildlife. He wasn't prone to exaggeration, yet there it was in his journal. Fast forward to July 1819. The Champlain newspaper published a sighting report from multiple witnesses near Shelburne, Vermont. They described a serpent-like creature, dark brown, moving with undulating motions. Again, multiple corroborating accounts from credible townspeople, then another in 1873, then 1892. The pattern repeats, different decades. Different witnesses, but the same general description. By the 20th century, sightings accelerated. In 1961, a woman named Sybil Sands reported seeing the creature from her beach house. She described a head emerging above the water, followed by a long, undulating body. In 1977, Sandra Mansi captured a photograph that became the most iconic piece of evidence, a dark shape in the water, roughly 30 feet long, moving through the lake. The photo made national news. Scientists examined Mansi's photo. Some dismissed it as a floating log, a wave formation, or a sturgeon, reasonable skepticism. But here's the problem: sturgeon don't move like that, they don't create that silhouette, and they certainly don't match the descriptions from centuries of witnesses who'd never seen Mansi's photo. The real turning point came in the 1980s. A team of researchers deployed sonar equipment into Lake Champlain, the kind used by fisheries to track fish populations and map lake geology. What they found was unexpected: large, unidentified objects moving through the water column, not fish schools, not debris. Objects that behaved with apparent intention, changing direction, ascending and descending at speeds inconsistent with currents. In 1981, a biologist named Robert Rines, famous for his Loch Ness investigations, brought sophisticated sonar equipment to Champlain. His team recorded what they called anomalous returns. These weren't random noise, they were structured, organic-looking signatures on the sonar display. Something large was down there, the data was real. The interpretation, though, that's where science and mystery collide. Now here's where most explanations break down. The standard narrative says Champy is either folklore or misidentification. But 400 years of consistent descriptions across dozens of independent witnesses, combined with sonar anomalies that can't be easily explained by conventional fish or geological features, that's not folklore. That's a pattern. What could explain the sonar data? Sturgeon can reach 10 feet. Lake Champlain does have sturgeon. But the sonar signatures suggest objects closer to 20 to 30 feet. Catfish, they max out around 50 pounds. Whatever created those sonar returns would need to be significantly larger than any known fish species in the lake. Could it be a surviving prehistoric species? Possibly, though unlikely. Could it be an undocumented large aquatic mammal? That's more plausible. Lake Champlain connects to the Atlantic via the Hudson River. Large marine animals occasionally wander into freshwater systems. A seal or a beluga whale could theoretically navigate the waterway, but that doesn't explain the consistency. Seals and belugas don't stay in freshwater lakes for centuries. They don't establish populations, they pass through. Yet the accounts span 400 years. Whatever's in Lake Champlain, if anything, would need to be a breeding population. So what's the real explanation? The most evidence-based answer is this. Lake Champlain likely harbors a population of large, unidentified aquatic animals, possibly an undocumented species of large catfish or a freshwater seal population that's managed to remain elusive. The sonar data supports the existence of something substantial. The eyewitness accounts, while subjective, show remarkable consistency. What we're not looking at is folklore. We're looking at incomplete data. Science hasn't definitively identified what's in Lake Champlain because the lake hasn't been thoroughly surveyed with modern equipment. That's not a failure of science, it's a gap. And gaps are where mysteries live. The implications are significant. If Champy is real, if there's a breeding population of large, unknown aquatic animals in Lake Champlain, then we're forced to admit that modern science hasn't cataloged everything in our own backyard. We don't know what we don't know, and that's humbling. In 2003, the Vermont legislature officially recognized Champy as the state's cryptid. It's tongue-in-cheek, sure, but it's also an acknowledgement that something unusual inhabits that lake. The sonar data is real. The sightings are documented. The mystery remains unsolved. So where does that leave us? With questions? With data that doesn't fit neat categories? With 4 centuries of eyewitness accounts and modern sonar signatures that point towards something we haven't yet identified, that's not proof of a monster. It's evidence of a mystery worth investigating. The real lesson here is this: skepticism is healthy, but so is curiosity. Lake Champlain's mystery hasn't been solved because we haven't looked hard enough. When we do, when modern equipment finally conducts a comprehensive survey of those depths, we'll either confirm Champy's existence or finally put the mystery to rest. Either way, we'll know. Subscribe for new documented cryptid investigations every week. There's always another mystery waiting.